Hello, and welcome to another weekly reading. I am excited to show you the reading this week because it feels like really intense and positive on many levels, but maybe with some pressure to change. So, we have got a full moon in Sagittarius this week, but that will be on Wednesday. On Tuesday, Jupiter, who has spent the last year in Gemini, will step into the sign of Cancer for the next year. And by Friday, Jupiter is making a square to Saturn, and this is always an interesting dynamic. I mean, I think of Jupiter as an inhale almost, and Saturn as an exhale. So they kind of need each other to balance each other. You can't just keep breathing in, or you'll explode, and you can't just keep breathing out, or there'll be no air left in you, and you'll just become very heavy and depressed like a stone. So it's like feeling that balloon energy of Jupiter and that stone energy of Saturn, forming this aspect that is a little bit like pressure to change. So we have got a bonus card this week, but I want you to still choose a number between 1 and 4 and see what comes up for you, and then we will just showing you the oils that have come through for us today. And then we will do the bonus card as a collective for everyone. So pick a number between 1 and 4. Remember, this is not a personalized reading, and let's jump in. Look at the color on this reading. Let me pull in this other card for a moment. Ta-da! So look at this amazing, vibrant, vital color, and 3 major arcana cards and a court card and a queen. So we've got I'm touching the wrong one. The 7, the Fool, the 4, and the Queen of Wands. But we start the reading with an upside down 10 of Cups. Now, the 10 of Cups is a very positive card in its upright form, but upside down, it's speaking a little bit because it's very much about harmony and relationships and that ideal when it's the right way up. Upside down, there's disharmony, maybe idealism, or maybe unfair expectations within relationships. Maybe people have that unfair expectations upon you, or you're putting unfair expectations upon other people. It kind of makes me think of how that reality that's becoming more accepted and common to understand, but wasn't really indoctrinated into all of us for many, many, many years. In a romantic relationship, for example, your spouse was meant to be your everything, your best friend, your partner, your lover, your confidant, your blah, 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 blah. And that's not very realistic. That's putting a lot of expectation on one person. So, you actually need other people. Both of you would need other people. You would need your own friends. You would need somebody that you sport with, and somebody that you work with, and somebody, we need the dynamics of community and more than one person. But in many ways, we've been taught to expect that our perfect wife is everything that we need her to be, and our perfect husband is everything that we need him to be. And I think that that's not right. So in some ways, with this coming upside down for me, it's saying, where are you in maybe you and your best friend? Maybe it's a friend relationship, or the ideal you have in your head of the relationship you should have with your child or your teenager even. That's always an interesting one as a mother of teenagers. So I think the question here is, which relationships am I putting too much expectation on people? And that's not to excuse bad behavior or people being like consistently disrespectful and rude, because, that's obviously pressure within relationships. And this card coming up as an anchor card to the reading, upside down, is trying to say, look at where the relationships are not working out. So when you see there's a lot of pressure within a relationship, ask yourself, is this because I have unreasonable and unfair expectations of this person to fulfill so many different roles in my life that they're not capable of doing, and do I need to temper that in me? Or is this because this person is not considering me, is not respecting my boundaries, is not loving me well? Because there's a big distinction. Is this your rose-tinted glasses of expectation on somebody that they're unable to put forward, or is it that you're not being treated in a way that is honoring of you and that you want to be treated? And then you can make your decisions, because then the next set of the reading is very much about newness. So let's say you figure out that relationship actually isn't healthy for you. This is a perfect opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to do that big scary thing and I'm going to leave. But it might also be that right, I'm no longer prepared to be in relationship with you in this way. I don't want to share my feelings with you. I'm speaking to my friend, or whatever the case may be. Something big is going to shift and change. It very well could be, okay, I've decided I'm leaving this job. I don't get treated well here. I get dumped with all the work that is not part of my work, and I'm just supposed to pick up the slack for everybody. Nobody recognizes the work I'm doing. And you know what? I know it's scary and I don't have something lined up, but I'm leaving because I'm not happy and I'm not being treated well. Or are you expecting your boss to give you that, or are you the boss expecting too much from somebody? You could say it from many different angles. You're going to look at this in your own life, as always. But now we've got the Chariot card, and this is a movement card. This is actually a Cancerian card, and Jupiter's moving into Cancer, and Jupiter is big and intense, and so this feels very much like, out of focus. This feels very much like Jupiter's jump into Cancer, where, as I say, he will stay for a year. So for anybody who is a Cancerian, Cancer rising, or even if you have other planets or points in Cancer, they're going to be like touched with the lucky wand, like a swoosh of lucky energy, benevolent energy, generosity. That's all coming for the Cancer planets and placements this year, which is awesome. But it can be a lot. So if there's one thing Jupiter can be, it's like excessive. So, if you've been trudging along doing something, suddenly this energy comes into your life. It's like whoosh, and almost like too much too soon. What do I do with this? And can I jump on that chariot and start galloping away? And this is always a card that wants you to find balance between your shadow and your light, your yin and your yang, day, night, masculine, feminine, name it what you will. And you notice he's not got any bridles or saddles on these horses. They're not even harnessed up to this magical chariot. And so he's very much, it's like he's found a way to control himself, his internal self. He's to harness his own internal yin and yang, the beasts, and have them work together and work for him. And there's this beautiful forward movement, and it is upright. So you can see a lot of the energy flow whoosh into the next card. So let's just turn this back around so you can see, like, this one is hanging on to past stuff and spiraling it when it's upside down. There is a bit of cup energy trying to climb in here to find, how do I fill my new cup, because something's not working. They've been emptying these cups. I haven't been as happy as I wanted to be. And you can see the energy flow is just kind of getting stuck at the bottom, coming from the past. But if it can get into this card, there's this whoosh of energy into the Fool card. And the Fool card is the beginning of the Major Arcana. It's the first card of the deck. It's the 0. It's that point where you start something new, even though you have no idea what you're doing. It's that new job where you feel completely lost, but you just trust that you are going to learn what you need to learn and you're going to find your way. Or is that stepping out of a relationship and going into the jungles of the unknown, or whatever. There's so many different ways we can begin our hero's journey, but we begin our hero's journey as a fool. Like, we don't know what we will need. We don't know the skills we need to learn. But the Fool sets out with all the tools that she, in this case, it's usually depicted by a he, needs. And in the traditional card, the Rider-Waite tarot, it's a little guy setting out with a stick on his back with a little knapsack tied to it. And inside of there are basically the 4 elements, which you see in the following card, the Magician, when he opens them out and places them on the table. And the 4 elements are those alchemical building blocks of whatever it is that you're going to build in your life. So in this rendition, she's got the crystal, she's got like the staff, and there's just a trust fall. That's all that she can do. She can just trust fall into this process. And so that's exciting, but it's also scary and daunting. So feeling those butterflies is that exhilaration or anxiety. And then I want you to again look at the energy. So she's taking her energy and she's dropping down, and you can see her energy is having a bit of a trust fall, but also more of it is actually lifting up with this trust, with this fall. More of it is bouncing up, and look at how it bounces into this other card where we find the very joyful, creative, sparky, full of pizzazz Leo card, the Queen of Wands. And she is, look at her with her cat there. She is very sassy and confident. All of these candles, also for me, candles really do represent Sagittarius, which is our full moon this week. Sag is a fire sign, so there's this beautiful connection to the Saggy energy and to feeling confident and fun and playful and exploring new avenues and being larger than life, which a full moon also depicts for us. So, I mean, this card is very much saying, don't forget to have fun while you go on this journey, on this adventure. And it's interesting because the Fool is almost like the most juvenile point of the story, the seed. And then the Queen is wise and has walked a journey. So in some ways, I'm also feeling like this might feel like a complete new beginning. However, you may realize you've already done a lot of the seed work along the way, and you go into full bloom at this full moon and this full-bodied Queen much more quickly than you think, if you trust the flow, the surrender, follow your intuition, and get going. And then that brings us to this beautiful, dynamic Emperor card, which I feel is also very positive in the sense of, because this is a strong masculine. So the Queen of Wands is a strong feminine energy. Here we have a much more balanced state. This is about happy families. So, I mean, you can see the depiction is kind of like a ideal relationship, marriage and children, whatever, ideal. And it's not working. So the balance is off in the yin-yang dynamic, because that can be an internal thing. It doesn't have to be a physical relationship, but it often is. Then we have to balance the internal dynamics in order to move forward. So let's just say, as an example, you leave a primary relationship because you realize it's not working. You don't just jump into another relationship. You work on yourself. You try to find where things went wrong, because it takes two. Of course, it takes two. Any relationship does. Then you've made the break. That was daunting. You drop into trusting in the next stage of this process, which is very overwhelming while you're still sort of grieving the old, but you know, there's no way back now, so you may as well just drop in. And then recognizing you were more ready for this than you thought you were. Ideas are coming, abundance is coming, joy is coming, all sorts of things are coming, and a strong balance of this feminine energy, fiery feminine, into very fiery. This is a Mars card. You can see his throne is even Mars. And into the Emperor card, which is that strong masculine. And you can see he's holding a chess piece. You can see Aries in the background. It's also an Aries card. And you can see that he's very confident in himself. So if I put these two side by side, I mean, I realize he came up behind. So maybe we'll do that. Just hold on. Trying to steady my phone as I move cards and look at them through the phone. It's a bit of a dynamic. So as she helps to support the seeding of this card, okay, as she takes the energy of this, like, you've done it, jump into my creative hand, let me hold you, let me support you, let's go, this is so much fun, healing can be fun, change can be fun. She's really kind of trying to get that across, it feels like. And also there's a staff for her as well, so she's got the staff in her right hand and she just falls backwards, her left hand holding a crystal, and that left hand is like leaning into her right hand, and her left arm is holding that staff up aloft, almost like, yes, I've won, I've done it. And then the energy leans in here and carries on going up, whereas we started with the energy from the bottom left-hand corner, from past, kind of dragging in and tipping out. We end it moving on and up. And the energy is coming in from the Queen of Cups into the Emperor card. He is sitting there very relaxed in his posture. So even though the Emperor can be aggressive when needs be, can go to battle when needs be, can be firm and all those kind of masculine toughness, because he's balanced the internal world, he is calm, he is relaxed in his body. I mean, look at his posture. He is strategic, he's a thinker, he's intelligent. He can be passionate, he's a very fiery card as well. So he can be passionate, but that passion doesn't have to be very triggered, like the first thing you see in him. You don't firstly see his passion and his aggression. So this is also, for me, showing beautiful balance of fire, because fire can have this too hot to handle kind of energy. But here we're seeing it as joyful, and we're seeing it as like contained, thoughtful, strategic,
beautiful balancing of the yin and yang, which really is echoed in here. And we've got the square. So he's not a Saturn card, he's a Mars Aries card, but you might almost look at them here as Jupiter, joyful, confident, fun, and Saturn more contained and controlled and strategic, but finding that balance in a positive way. So I hope this makes sense. It's gotten a little long, so I'm going to sign off now, and I will be back with you next week. Happy full moon in Sagittarius.